They
If
warmed
we're
our hearts for
nervous
years
or
on
upset
Asterisk the
about
Repair
anything,
Shop
he's
Asterisk,
the
gently
perfect
restoring
person to be
precious
there with.
family heirlooms, breathing life back into the broken, and reminding millions that care, patience, and craftsmanship can mend more than just objects. But what if we told you that behind those calm smiles, those steady hands and soothing voices, Suzie and Steve Fletcher were carrying a truth no one saw coming? A story not of antiques and restoration, but of pain, silence, and survival. For so long, their smiles were masks, their stillness a form of quiet endurance. Behind the scenes, away from the familiar workshop lights, lay a hidden past filled with childhood turmoil, adult trauma, and the kind of strength only forged through years of silently bearing the weight of sorrow. And now, after decades of carrying it alone, the brother-sister duo who symbolized comfort and repair are finally breaking their silence. Fans around the world, used to seeing them as steady pillars of peace and patience, are stunned. Because once you know the truth, the real story behind their lives, you'll never look at Asterisk the Repair Shop Asterisk the same way again. For more than a decade, Asterisk the Repair Shop Asterisk has offered viewers a unique blend of nostalgia and hope. Viewers tune in not just to watch old toys and clocks repaired, but to witness healing in motion. There was something deeply comforting about Suzie Fletcher's gentle presence, her quiet focus as she worked leather into beautiful form, her soft voice that soothed even the most anxious guests. Steve, too, with his steady hands and warm demeanor, embodied calm expertise. Together, they appeared as a perfect team, two skilled artisans with a deep bond and a shared love for restoration. But beneath the quiet synergy, attentive fans sometimes caught glimpses of something more, fleeting shadows of pain. A flicker of something unsaid in Suzie's eyes. A brief pause in Steve's voice whenever family was mentioned. These weren't camera tricks or imagination. They were fragments of a much deeper, untold story. Suzie and Steve Fletcher grew up in what, from the outside, appeared to be a warm, idyllic Oxfordshire home. A house filled with the laughter of four siblings, home-cooked meals, homemade cakes, and the ever-present aroma of freshly brewed tea. But inside that house, shadows lingered. Their mother, a creative and talented woman, suffered from postnatal depression, a condition poorly understood and woefully untreated in those days. Our mom suffered dreadfully, Steve would later recall. It wasn't just sadness, it was isolation, confusion, and pain. Their father, doing his best to hold everything together, eventually succumbed to his own mental health struggles, suffering a nervous breakdown under the weight of family pressures. It was a dark time for all of us, Steve admitted. The children were often sent to stay with relatives, protected as best as possible from the storm at home. They developed an unspoken pact, a code of silence, a means of survival in a world that didn't have language for what they were going through. Looking back, Suzie added, "I feel incredibly sorry for Mom. No one knew how to help her, and the treatments, they were barbaric." From that house of shadows emerged two remarkable individuals. Suzie, the youngest daughter, found solace in craft. Born into a home of creativity, her mother was a designer and seamstress, her father a watchmaker. Suzie was drawn from a young age to working with her hands. By 14, she was apprenticing with Ken Langford, a local saddle maker, and by the time she reached adulthood, leatherwork wasn't just a skill, it was a lifeline. Horses, too, became a refuge, leading her naturally into the world of saddlery. But it wasn't enough to mend what was broken inside. Seeking freedom and a new beginning, Suzie moved to Boulder, Colorado. What began as an adventure soon became a long escape from the ghosts of a past. In America, she built something beautiful, a thriving leather restoration business, known for its precision, elegance, and excellence. But success can be a thin cover for pain. Behind the facade of her professional life, Suzie lived through something far darker. She met Rob, a man who at first seemed loving, dependable. But as the years passed, the darkness within him emerged. His temper flared, control tightened. Then came the violence. "We were forced to hide it," Suzie would later say. Back then, families didn't talk about these things. It wasn't safe. One day, In a fit of rage, Rob grabbed her by the throat and lifted her off the floor. "I honestly thought I was going to die," she whispered in a rare interview. Her feet dangling, her breath disappearing. Suzie, who had spent her life fixing things, found herself shattered. And yet, she stayed silent. She endured. She worked. Her leatherwork became more than a profession. It became a form of survival. Each stitch, each restoration, was a way to rebuild herself, one piece at a time. Meanwhile, back in Oxfordshire, Steve built a quiet life. He became a father of 5, a master horologist, and a man of meticulous routine. To the world, he was calm, steady, approachable. But within, he carried the weight of his family's pain, the burden of protecting his sister even from across the ocean. He stayed close to home, holding onto the past with precision and care, not out of fear, but out of strength. "You just carry it quietly," he said. "But eventually, you have to let some of it go." By 2017, Suzie returned to the UK after Rob's death from cancer. It had been 22 years away. She was exhausted, physically, emotionally, but also ready. Steve encouraged her to join the repair shop, believing it might offer not just purpose, but peace. At first, she was hesitant. Public life felt foreign, even frightening. But once in the workshop, surrounded by tools, craftspeople, and gentle stories, something within her softened. Her presence on the show felt natural. Her leatherwork, exquisite. Audiences quickly embraced her, unaware of the lifetime of resilience behind every smile. Over time, the cracks began to show. Suzie missed episodes. Steve grew more introspective in interviews. Fans noticed and wondered. The truth, when it came, didn't arrive with dramatic fanfare. It came quietly, respectfully, first in a podcast, then in Suzie's deeply moving memoir The Sun Over the Mountains where she laid bare the truth of her life, the family struggles, the violence, the heartbreak, the healing. "Every stitch wasn't just about the leather," she said. "It was about putting myself back together." Steve echoed the sentiment. "We didn't just fix things for others. It became part of our own healing." Together, Suzie and Steve Fletcher have shown the world that restoration isn't just a physical act. It's an emotional journey. Their story is not just about clocks, saddles, or family heirlooms. It's about survival, about love, about the silent endurance of two people who carried the weight of their past while helping others reconnect with theirs. They remind us that even the most broken things can be made whole again, and that sometimes the greatest restoration of all is the human spirit. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories. And remember, every piece has a history. Every person has a story. And sometimes, the deepest wounds heal through the quietest acts of care.